Hi guys, so since tonight we'll be talking all about fighting for your marriage, I invited a special guest here tonight. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Elu. So I've been married to Brother Chris for about 14 years. And basically we're a typical husband and wife who deals with each other every day because we do business together. We both take care of Hunter, and I think the only time we're apart is during meetings, out of the country meetings and out of town. So we have to deal with each other every day. So basically this topic today is very, we could really relate on this. We already experienced all of this, so we will discuss this with Chris.
Okay. So like she said, since we're very close, we work together every day, dun lumalabas yung mga iba-ibang issues, yung mga problems. Since kasi nga every day you're together. And I would like to share to you guys 3 ways to fight for your family. And working on your marriage, there are 3 crucial steps that one has to work on. And that is working on your character, working on your communication, and working on your commitment. So the first step we would like to discuss is working on your character.
So the fact is, many marriage problems arise from immaturity. Many husband and wives nowadays are just kids in an adult bodies. So they say you can change your spouse, so you have to change yourself. So for me, you have to work on your emotional and spiritual maturity. So how do you do that?
Okay, so I think one example on one has to work on their spiritual maturity is yun yung kinakaganda is like joining a group like the Feast. And once you're in the Feast, you can join our light groups. Bakit ba naging importante yung pag-join some spiritual community?
For me, it's important that you have this circle of friends or community that would influence you to follow Christ. Because, the people that you are talking to daily or on a daily basis or whenever you have a problem influence the life that you are living in. So, I believe on that. And for me, as I have said, emotional maturity is also important. It's like, for example, it doesn't mean that we don't argue or we don't fight anymore, but we choose our battles. I mean, when Chris is tired or I'm tired, he knows when to stop or when's the right time to talk to me. So, parang it's parang knowing. That's the emotional maturity. It's like you know when to choose, when to get in and when to stop. Parang ganun.
One of the things that we try to work on is like yung what we learn is yung 5-5 rule. It's like is this important 5 minutes from now or 5 years from now? So kung yung mga bagay-bagay na maliliit naman na hindi naman maka-apekto sa atin 5 years sa in the future sa marriage natin, you let it go. Parang if it's not a big deal, don't make it a big deal, 'di ba? Parang like yung sinabi nga ni Elu, we choose our battles. And that's the sign of yung sasabi niya, emotional maturity. And I think one of the key notes here in working on your characters, dapat na ito yung pinaka-importante, yung knowing that yung happiness of one person, you cannot depend that on your partner.
Yeah,
diba?
Exactly. Like for me, I did not marry him because I was lonely. I was on the peak of my career, starting my ladder on corporate world when he proposes to me. So, during that time, I wasn't really expecting to get married. So, I was really enjoying myself. So, when I married Chris, I did not seek for happiness. That's not my main point of marrying him. I married him because I love him.
Tama. Kasi ang naging problem ngayon is a lot of people that we know and naririnig din namin, they get into relationship, they get married thinking that yung other person na yun is the person that will make them happy. Pero yun nga, parang sinasabi nga nila, it's only 30%. 30% lang nung happiness mo na kukuha mo actually dun sa partner mo, yung satisfaction is only like 30%. The remaining 70%, it comes from God and yung mga friends, if you find your purpose in what you're doing in your work. So yun yung maganda, like what we said nga you find your spiritual families, you find your spiritual community, you go to the feast, tapos you join a light group, and once you have this community, that's one way of growing your character.
So, for me, yung spiritual maturity, very important din siya kasi when you started to attend and listen to like preach, attend mass, basically, nagdi-deepen yung faith mo. And then, when you have this connection to Him, automatic na rin yung wisdom mo eh. So, you will know what to respond on things. You will start to live within his path. So basically spiritual maturity is very important kasi yung wisdom from him is really parang God's grace to us when we follow him.
And that will really help in fighting for your family kasi once nagkaroon ka na ng emotional and spiritual maturity, you will know ano mga dapat mo gagawin within your family, di ba? Alam mo yung mga dapat mo ipaglaban, yung mga dapat mong hindi ipaglaban, yung mga dapat mo i-let go.
Correct. Another thing about emotional maturity sa relationship is, I've heard it the other night sa isang talk din na parang always consider na yung ano yung mas important, yung pag-aawayan nyo or yung partner mo. So minsan you choose nga, 'di ba? Parang do you really have to fight him or I want him more than I want to fight to him. So, parang you choose. So, di ba, family is important. So, let's not fight because it could destroy or hurt our loved ones.
Amen. Okay guys, so yung second key point natin is work on your communication. So Han, how important is yung communication?
Actually, in one massive study, they asked thousands of divorced couples what caused the divorce. So the answer is...
So most people would think na ang number one cause ng divorce is infidelity, adultery, pero you'll be surprised that the number one cause of divorce is actually lack of communication. And bakit yun ang nagiging cause ng divorce? Ano ba nangyayari pag walang communication?
Because if you are just... Can you imagine if you're just living in one roof and you don't know how to communicate and discuss the things with your partner, and you will just sometimes react on what your partner does. Like I know some people who would just walk out or ano ba what you call it, nagdadabog. So parang if that's how you communicate with your partner, I mean, how would the relationship end up? So, communication is very important. And another tip is know when to discuss things with your partner. It's like for me, you don't discuss sensitive matters during bedtime. During the end of the day that you are already both tired and as like a baby na parang cranky na, so yung patience mas maikli. So, for me, yung right time din.
Aside from being tired na, yung paggutom ka, di ba? Paggutom ka, minsan ang hirap din makipag-discuss kasi manitin yung ulo mo, di ba?
Yeah, or another thing din is, napansin ko, madalas nagagalit siya sa akin when I'm too busy and ang dami kong paperworks, and then he would ask me or talk to me, and then I would respond quickly lang ng short word. And then, parang sasabihin niya, ang taray ko raw. So, parang, during those moments, kasi na parang ang dami kong ginagawa, parang natataranta na ako on my part. So, parang, minsan when I answer him, I don't notice na I answer him like that na. So, parang...
Ang important sa communication kasi is like, you give your full attention to that person Kasi ako, well, one of the tips is like, whatever it is you're doing, if it's not really naman super important, try to give attention to your partner para makikita mo na, nakikita at nafe-feel nung partner mo na you give importance to what he or she is saying. So, another tip then is stop being defensive. Kung if your partner, someone is saying something na kung nararamdaman niya or gusto niya communicate, most of people kasi ang nangyayari, naging defensive sila, trying to defend themselves na, hindi na, yan ang meaning ko, di ba? Hindi yan yung gusto ko sabihin.
Yeah, one thing we learned from attending marriage encounter is you have to empathize with what your partner feels. Like, for example, if Chris was offended but what I did, so I have to be on his shoes and empathize with him and apologize if he feels that way. It's not that ang sasabihin ko sa kanya is
Nagkakasan, no?
oo, na parang ba't mo naramdaman yun? So parang di naman ganun. So usually kasi yun yung unang respond ng tao, parang defensive.
Tama.
Yeah.
So you just have to constantly fight for your marriage, and one way of doing that is a good communication between partners.
Yeah. Like us, like like almost every week, we would spend parang after tulog na si Hunter, we would talk, we would discuss things, like say from simple things to sensitive matters, until we will sleep happy. So parang maganda rin kasi yung naki-clear yung mga bagay-bagay with the two of you.
And that's one of the things that I really treasure, yung magsimula kami sa mga long talks namin. It's very, alam mo yun, merong parang nag-hold sa inyo alam mo yun, akala mo nag-ano lang kayo, small talk lang kayo, tapos mamaya kung ano na pinag-uusapan nyo, nagdi-deepen, and it helps your relationship, nagdi-deepen yung relationship nyo
May mga trivia pa yun, so parang yun, so parang
and take it for someone na who've known each other for 20 years, hindi pa rin kayo maubusan ng pag-uusapan
Yeah. So, saka tawag dito, yung communication talaga is very important kasi you will know how your partner feels and kung ano yung mga wants and needs niya. Hindi po pwedeng you're in one roof giving act of service lang and doing the 5 love language and then you're not talking talaga. So parang talagang sobrang important niya.
Pero one thing lang is, sometimes when people communicate, they end up arguing. So, it's okay. It's natural. It's very natural that people argue din. Pero they just have to understand that during that time na nagko-communicate that ends up in arguing, you just have to understand that ang bottom line is that ang gusto niyo mangyari, you want to resolve something, hindi yung gusto niyo na may manalo sa isa sa inyo.
Sabi nga nila, what is bago pag-awayan, pag-usapan. And then, always remember na ang important lagi sa relationship or sa pinag-uusapan nyo, yung partner nyo. Kasi, ang main goal is not to hurt your partner. And, you are in one team. So, you don't need to attack each other. So, parang yun. So,
At the end of the day, magkakampi kayo.
Correct. So, actually, we have visitors from relatives staying with us sometimes from time to time. I've heard a positive feedback nga since matagal na rin naman kaming married talaga. So parang she said na parang for 4 or 5 months hindi niya kami nakikita ni Chris na yung talagang like nag-aaway ng yung
Brutal.
yeah, we don't.
Yeah, we talk. We try as much as possible na we talk our issues out. Pag-usapan bago pag-awayan. Di ba? Yun ang pag-usapan tayo
Yeah, and then sometimes
when
kasi parang kabisado ko na rin siya sa tagal namin. So parang pag kunyari minsan may sinasabi ako sa kanya and he would respond na masungit. Sasabihin ko sa kanya, galit ka ba? So parang nag-iiba naman siya agad. So parang ganon.
Okay. So yun, always work on your communication.
So I'll make a recap. So first, we discussed about work on your character. Second, work on your communication. And the third one is work on your commitment. So
Okay.
he will discuss it.
So right now, everyone knows naman that we're in this, there's this huge pandemic going on around the world. It's called COVID-19, right? Where there's another equally dangerous epidemic afflicting our families, and it's called relationship drift. So some might call it, what do you call that?
Married singles.
Being married singles. But this relationship drift is very, very dangerous. Kasi hindi mo nakikita to. It's not like you're fighting. It's like invisible, di ba? Some people might think na napakasama na ng relationship lang when they constantly fight, nag-aaway sila, nagbabangayan sila. Pero there's this another version that will separate and tear a family apart. And it's actually sobrang hindi mo mapapansin. Parang
Common.
actually,
And it is
it's very common.
yeah.
It's very common na actually parang akala mo peaceful. Makikita ng mga tao parang peaceful naman yung family na walang nag-aaway.
Bigla na lang silang
Bigla na lang hiwalay.
naghiwalay.
Exactly.
Maraming ganyan. Yeah.
Oo. So, yeah.
So, again, we'll explain kung ano yung married single. So, this term, we learned about it sa marriage encounter before. So, married singles is like you are both living in one roof, but you do things, you don't depend on each other anymore. You do things on your own. It's like parang boarding house na lang yung bahay ninyo. So, it's like parang good morning, and then go to work, and then good night, go to sleep, and then repeat. So parang wala nang intimacy.
Yes, and
Wala nang
that is one very important thing eh. Diyan nag-start yan eh. Pag nawala yung intimacy, people start to drift apart. Sabi nga nila parang some people, they only have sex every time Halley's Comet passes by. And I am not really sure kung gaano katagal yung Halley's Comet nagpa-pass by sa Earth natin, pero I think that's a couple of decades before it passes by. So, once nagsisimula sila nag-drift apart, parang kasama mo siya sa bahay, mag-asawa pa rin kayo, pero hindi kayo mag-asawa.
Yeah, we sometimes actually to be honest with you, we sometimes feels like that. Like
Everybody feels like that.
yeah, it's like
It's natural
it's
na
like
drift apart sometimes.
we're always together, but we're not together. Especially when we are taking, we have. I'm so busy with work, and he's busy also with other stuff. So parang at the end of the day, parang hindi pa rin kayo magkasama. So kahit nga magkasama kayo, that's possible na parang hindi pa din. So yun yung kailangan na i-work out, yung commitment to each other, na to be physically, emotionally available to your partner.
Because it's very easy to be complacent kasi masanay ka na nandyan naman lagi yung spouse mo, yung wife mo, yung husband mo. Parang na-take for granted mo na lang siya na parang it's very, nasanay ka eh na okay, ito yung routine mo, very routine na lang eh. You wake up, you go to work, you eat, tas uwi and everything. Parang nagdi-drift apart na kayo kasi nasanay ka na nandyan lang siya.
Lalo na when your mind is over a lot of things, like I have to take care of the kids, I have to pay the bills, I have mortgage due or something like that. Sobrang nabibisi yung mind mo na yung relationship na iisang tabi na.
Minsan nagiging last na priority ng mga tao yung relationship nila kasi inisip nila there are other things more important na kailangan asikasuhin. Yan yung sasabi natin, work on your commitment, and this is a daily thing. You have to do this every day na kailangan, tandaan mo, you have to be actively conscious na you have to work on your relationship, you have to work on your spouse, kung ano mga kailangan yung ayusin,
Yeah.
work out.
Like for example, yung simple na lang, you have a spare time at night. So parang don't spend it on your cell phone anymore. As much as possible, parang cuddle, or you don't need to have sex naman every time. So parang, di ba? Parang,
Intimacy naman doesn't necessarily lang means to have sex eh, di ba? Parang even simple things na you hold your spouse, you cuddle, you kiss, di ba? Parang yung mga ganyang bagay, it builds the intimacy para lang hindi mawala, di ba?
Correct.
Kasi sabi nga nila, it's natural for two people to drift apart kahit mamahalan kayo. In time, magdi-drift apart kayo. Sabi nila nga, ang mag-asawa, they're not on the same boat. They're in two boats, and those two boats, they're being carried on by different currents. Kaya naghihiwalay sila eh. Pero what you have to do, you have to paddle like crazy. You paddle with all your strength para bumalik ka sa current na yun. You struggle, you go against the current para lagi kayong magkasama. Laging same yung path nyo. And yung path na yun hindi madali. Laging may something mangyayari dyan na mag-drift part away kayo. Pero work on it, fight for it, work like crazy para lagi kayong magkasama.
Correct. So, ngayon, pandemic.
Oh, yan.
They're
This
stuck with
is
each other.
di ba? Ngayong meron tayong naka-lockdown, so some of us are still on lockdown, some may be working now, pero most of us are still on a lockdown, and this is a great way. Itong 3 key points natin, yung working on your character, working on your communication. Ngayong naka-lockdown kayo, you work on your communication. Wala nang kayong magagawa. Kung magkasama kayo, di pag-usapan nyo lahat ng mga dapat nyo pag-usapan.
Rather spend time on your cellphone, diba?
Exactly, di ba? Then, work on your commitment. Andito na kayo eh. This is the best time. This is the best time to work on these 3 key points.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Han.
So God bless you all.
Okay, thank you.